This video is to show how to do row level security within a query module. So first thing I have to do is you take your query module, and the only thing you can do row level security on are dimensions. If you have a selection in there where they can enter in a user value, like just a normal text user input, you cannot allow this. These fields will have to be removed. You cannot protect that in the current code base of IBIS. So it has to be a dimension file. So I'm showing an example of the geolocal health district, and you'll notice here that I have added an authority element with some string value, and this string value is nothing special. There's no logic. There's nothing in it. It's just a convention. You can name these whatever you'd like. You just need to make sure that the user has the corresponding string value. So you'll see here I have local health district 1 through 12, and if I go over into my user XML file, I have given this user 3 of the local health districts, 1, 2, and 4. And so I should see Bear River, Central, and Salt Lake correspond with 1, 2, and 4. Those are the values I should see when I bring up my builder page. Now, the query module I'm working with is the secure query module birth. And so I'm also going to show another dimension that is also protected. And this has an authority called marital married and marital not married. So again, I go over here to this file, and I should only see marital married in my selection list. So I started my app server. I'm going over to my browser, and I'm going to go to my secure dataset index. And again, this video is about row level security. It is not about securing the query module, although there is security on this query module. As you can see, I'm being prompted to log in. So I'm going to go to birth and select this configuration right here. And you'll notice that this is the default builder page. And you'll notice that I have the selected geographic area already selected to be Bear River, Central, and Salt Lake Valley. And those are the values that correspond with the values that this user actually has. And the reason this is being done, and I can show you where this configuration is done as well in just a minute. The reason this is done is before a user enters the builder page, I want to make sure that if they have a dimension that is being protected, as in it has an authority, that user is automatically selected for all of those authorized dimension values. And the reason for this is because if they didn't have those selections, and if I didn't have anything that happens after they submit the query to be processed, the actual entire population data set would include all of the values. They would not be restricted to only those dimensions that a user has privileges to. So I'll show you the mother marital status one as well. So I'm just being proactive here with this user interface. You don't have to do it. And I can show you just a minute here how this is done. But you'll notice here the mother's characteristics, that marital status of married and the state total married. And the reason state total married is showing up, let me go back over to that dimension file and I'll show you how that is working. So here's the mother's marital status. The state total married, you see it has an authority here of marital married, and that's why that one shows up in that list as well. So as promised, I'm going to show you why that's the case, why I have those values pre-populated. And so I'm going to jump down here to my secure query builder controller bean right here, and in my model map I have added in this bean right here. And this is a special model map. It's a piece of Java code that goes out and it looks at all dimensions that have authorities on them, and then it loops through and puts them into the query module selected dimension list. And again, the reason you want to do this is because we don't want a user to run a query and not filter on any of those authorized dimensions and yet see the entire population of the data set. So I put this processing here on the builder controller, and if we scroll down here, you'll see that I also put it on the submit controller. So even if the user goes in and makes those selections or does not make those selections, I want to make sure that before they submit that that query, that those dimension values are automatically selected if they haven't already selected them. Now, while we're in this file, I also want to show the query result controller. There's some special code that is handling values if they group by. So here's my query result controller, and I have in here that one. I have in this controller for a result, I say to delete unauthorized result records. And there's, again, this is special processing that happens on the query result, and this is not the authority part of things. This is just to clean up in case they are grouping by. Now, if I go over to my security, I actually have another voter that is there just to make sure that they do not have any invalid dimensions in there that they are not authorized to access. So if I scroll down to, I have a filter chain here for query results. So I have security secure query result filter chain that matches on this pattern right here, and it uses this interceptor filter, which is here at the bottom. And this interceptor filter uses a access decision manager that's named security secure query result access decision manager, which invokes a couple of voters. And the main voter that I want to show you is this secure query module dimension value voter. And what this does is it loops through, it's a special piece of IBIS code that loops through the query module to make sure that a user has not somehow snuck in a dimension selection of which they are not authorized to see. So if they do manage to get one through, if they go in and actually use some script and inject something into the page and actually get it through before they see the result, this final dimension value voter will see that and will give them an access denied. The other thing I wanted to show is, the last thing I want to show is what happens if they don't have authorities for a dimension. So here I'm going to go into my mother marital status, and I'm just going to change the authority that's needed. Okay, so these string values will not match what the user has. So I'm going to save that and come back over here to my query module builder. I'm going to have to load the default so it reloads the module. Okay, and what happens here is that before they're even allowed into the builder page, you see my URL here, the builder, it actually threw an unauthorized access, and that's because that user does not have privileges on a dimension that requires privileges. So either in the builder page or in the submit process, that same piece of model map processing code that I showed here in this file, which is right, it's the one that adds. Is it that one? No, it's this one right here. It's this guy right here. This model map one that adds in the selected dimensions. If it finds a dimension that is not, that a user does not have authority on to even make any of them at all, then it'll automatically give them an access denied. So you'll get this error page. Even if you were to get past this error page and look at the query module itself, the values would not be in there. So we have a couple of mechanisms. Of course, those have to be wired up with, and if you use the standard core definition of secure.xml, you'll get those model map processors for a row-level security for a query module's dimensions. So I hope this was helpful, and as always, you can give me a call and ask any questions you'd like. Please let me know how these videos are working, things that you like, things that you don't like, and I'll try to improve on them. Thanks.